Hi, I'm Lise Colucci, and I'm one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com. We'll help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. Hello. Hi. How's it going, everybody? Lots of people here. I guess this is a good time, huh? Fashion family, hello. You rock, freedom, Mo Cowboy. Who else is here? There are a few of you. Who am I missing? It is here. I don't know. Okay. Jeannie, hi, and Karina. Okay, so let's get started. If you need help for anything related to narcissistic abuse, head over to queenbeing.com where we have all kinds of information, lots of support, lots of info, lots of resources available. And there's also information about coaching over there as well. All the information is in the main description of every video. If you would like texting notification of my going live, text me at 33222. Put the word Lise live, Liselive, one word, hit send, and I will text you about 10 minutes prior to going live every day. I go live 4 times a week, pretty much, and talk about all kinds of topics related to narcissistic abuse, to healing from narcissistic abuse, and any questions that you might have that you need a little coaching help with. I am happy to help as we go here. So today is a short live stream. I have 7 ways a narcissist manipulates you. 7 ways in which a narcissist manipulates. How many more could there be? Probably a zillion, but we're going to start with 7. And when I don't say something, you guys fill in the blanks and I'll read those too. And we'll make this 7 into probably 17 before we're done, if not more. Okay, so let's go. Where do you want to start? Gaslighting. Hi, okay, let me say hi to Martha too. Hello, Martha. You're really low energy. Forgive me if I'm not super active in chat. That's okay. We're allowed low energy days, right? Hi, fashion family. Did I say hi to you? If I didn't, hello. All right. So gaslighting. That's the big one, isn't it? How they manipulate you. Basically, anything that they're doing that is making you question your sanity, your beliefs, your thoughts, your experience through the words they're saying and the things they're doing that twist and manipulate conversations around to not making any sense anymore. And you're sitting there feeling completely confused about what you're even talking about in the first place. You've probably been gaslit. So anyone who is in here right now, I know you have all experienced gaslighting. What do you want to say about that? It's all kinds of other things can go in that. So we can throw in a few things like the word salad is a form of gaslighting. That is kind of gaslighting where they just start talking and they're not making any sense. They're throwing lots of words at you and they're talking tangentially around a topic and they're basically just spilling out a bunch of words and nonsense at you all at once to completely derail the situation. So derailing, that's another one. They can talk about something, steer it off into another path and completely derail the topic. They can do that through tactics like blame shifting. When they blame shift, that's another form of gaslighting where they can you'll be talking about something and maybe you say, I'm just going to use the classic, why were you late? And they say, why were you late? Or I'm not late. Why are you checking up on me? And suddenly you're like, well, I wasn't checking up on you. I'm just, I was concerned. I've been waiting for 2 hours. I was really worried. You were really worried. That's why you were out checking up on me. Why are you spending your time checking up on me? What else, why didn't you do this? Why did you, so they blame the shift back onto you, turn it all around, flip it around. That's a form of gaslighting. You have to call it out when it happens. You do. Hi, butterfly mama. They manipulating your environment. Yes, they can manipulate your environment. That's another form of gaslighting. Where are my sunglasses? I know I left them there. That's like classic true to form gaslighting, right? Hiding things, making you think you're crazy, locking doors that weren't locked so that you get locked out. And then they say, why'd you lock yourself out? Like literally manipulating things. Let's see, what else are we talking about? Okay. Gaslighting. There's so much to say on gaslighting. Well, let's look over here. I have a whole list of things I could say on gaslighting. Your truth is twisted, right? They lie. They deny. Denial is a form of gaslighting, even if they're caught. Projecting is thrown in there too, but I have projecting as a separate thing here, so we'll leave that as it is. It makes you second guess yourself. It makes you think things are your fault when nothing should have been to begin with. Does that make sense? Like there's really not, you're not really even trying to start an argument. You just maybe ask a question or you have a situation going on and suddenly this is coming out of their mouth and it's making no sense. So it's confusing. Okay. So, okay, we'll keep going. So another form of, it does erode your sense of self. Absolutely. Oh, you started a new Christmas job tonight. I do not know how to say your name, so I'm going to call you How do you want me to say that? You just put that in there so I can't say it. Just kidding. I don't know how to say that, so we'll call you D. All right. You start your new Christmas job tonight. So excited. I'm going to put every penny away so I can get out of this house. Yay. Yay. You keep good job and keep going with that. I'm hoping that will help you toward freedom. They make you look like a bad person. They do make you look like a bad person. That's all kinds of ways of manipulation can do that, can it? Duchess of Amsterdam. It's an inside joke with my friends. That's okay. I gotcha. Oh, Duchess of Amsterdam. I see it. I see it now. I call you Duchess. There we go. All right. Okay. So you can't say it either. It's not just me. All right. So another way, since I'm trying to not take forever and ramble here, other forms of manipulation that a narcissist uses is the very nature of the cycle of how they keep you there to begin with, which is the grooming, the love bombing, and the devalue cycle. That is a manipulation cycle. Whether or not they know they're doing any of these things really probably depends on the toxic person you're dealing with. I would say some do and some don't. That's irrelevant. The point, well, it's relevant, but it's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is what they do. And that is the grooming. They draw you in by mirroring and pretending that they are just like you, that you're a soulmate, that you are so special, so important, that they make you feel like you are the only person that matters, all that stuff. They give you special treatment above other people. They put you on a pedestal. You may feel like you've never been loved like this before, on and on and on. I found this really wonderful special person that it treats me so well. They give, if you watch, they're probably giving you the predatory narc stare as well, which is incredibly seductive and also incredibly disgusting at the same time once you know what it looks like. So the grooming and the love bombing that goes along with that, the gifts, the kind words, the treating you like you are important, the making you feel like you are super special, the only one that matters, on and on and on. And then the devaluing that comes in, which is my loves to say things and then 5 minutes later say she never said it or I misunderstood her. Exactly, which is the devaluing that comes in. Because once they've done this, see, the cycle starts really stretched usually. So the grooming phase can be really short or it can be a little extended depending how easily their prey falls in. And once someone is attached to them after the grooming has happened and trusts them, the grooming creates trust. Once their person trusts, then the love bombing may last a while. It can last for years, and then the devaluing starts. Usually the devaluing is kind of spread in there and really confusing at first and causes little flare-ups. And then what happens is it can be within 5 minutes. 1 minute they're one thing, 5 minutes later it's something else, and they deny even saying the good thing. Or flip it around, they deny saying the bad thing. And then the gaslighting comes into play. So you see, this all goes together. So the love bombing and the devaluing and then the gaslighting gets thrown in. It's like peppered into everything so that they don't have to. It's all about not taking accountability for one's own emotional life. That is their goal, is to not have to take accountability to push it all off onto other people so that they can protect the bright, shiny ego that they walk around pretending is themselves. Okay. The stare turns my stomach, doesn't it? Oh, it's the worst. Yeah. I can see it. Oh, I don't even want to talk about the stare right now. I did feel special when it did the demon stare at me. Wow, I'm naive. It's almost like, yes, we are naive, but it's not something to blame oneself for, right? Because most people wouldn't know what it was if they saw it. You can describe it to someone, and someone might say, that actually sounds really passionate and sweet. It's only after, and it's only when you know that that person lacks empathy, that it becomes completely disgusting, right? Good night to who? Good night, butterfly. Let's see. They get you to believe how they want you to believe and steer your decisions for their benefit, constantly being steered. That's right. That's controlling, the controlling nature. I mean, I put down here dominant controlling nature, and it kind of is the nature of how the whole operation goes, because they have to control everything in order to protect the only thing that matters to them, which is their ego. It's not even themselves, because inside, oh, hi, butterfly. Good night, not good night. The only thing that matters is to protect the masks, right? To protect the thing they call themselves, which is the illusion of who they claim to be. When all of that falls off, they're miserable and they're grasping for something to prove so something to reinforce what they think they are, which is the supply they need, right? Okay. So the love bomb and devalue cycle, and we know what that is, right? The love bombing and the gift giving and the kind words, and basically treating you like they should treat you, maybe a little better. Sometimes love bombing is just being treated normal, so to speak, in a relationship, friendly, kind, whatever. Sometimes it's lavish gifts, vacations, trips, sometimes it's over the top. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just simply being treated humanely. And then they flip and they devalue you and they tear it all down. Nothing you do is good enough. Everything is, nothing that you do is right. You can't do enough for them. They break you down. They, that whole cycle starts, the silent treatments and all of the things that go with it. And then they breadcrumb in the love bombing or the normal treatment or whatever you want to call it after. And so it becomes a cycle. And like somebody said, it can be a 5-minute flip from one to the other, completely exhausting to live with. All right. Thank you. My love bombing experience was nothing special. It isn't often. It can just be being treated like you get the butterflies, you're excited like you should in the relationship, right? You're happy. It can just be that. It's the giving of the good and then the taking away of the good. So it's like the giving and the withholding is part of it. It's a giving of affection, right? But later you realize that was never affection. It was the mood they were in and projecting out what they wanted to receive back, really. Or they know how to get something by giving something. Everything's transactional, right? So the love bombing it's not always big and lavish. Yeah. And also the devaluing can sometimes be subtle. That's the other piece. It can sometimes be, it's sometimes you never hear a super negative word. It's just this subtle breakdown of who you are. And it literally feels like the word is devalued. Your value is lessened and lessened and lessened in your partner's eyes. And that's what it feels like. Okay. So yes, it's all transactional. Sometimes love bombing is like a break from the devalue. It's all it is. So eventually the devaluing becomes the relationship, and the love bombing is the thing that they just hook you back with. So it's like a little lasso to yank you back in, but then the entire relationship is the devalue. That's usually what it breaks down to. And then that'll stay there. That'll just stay like that. Yep. All right. Okay. Give a little, take a lot. All right. So another form of manipulation that they use is triangulation. They like to have a third party or more, a third party who is most of the time or oftentimes unknowingly been groomed to take the narcissist side. They've already been groomed to be on that side, that team. Those people don't necessarily know what's going on because they are often equally as manipulated and duped as you are in that situation, right? Or more so because they don't live with this narcissist. They only see what the narcissist says. And this is really happens a lot. And they will pull that person in to prove that they're right and they're perfect and they're this and then something's wrong with you. So yeah, triangulation. That's a form of manipulation that happens more subtly oftentimes than we realize too. It's not necessarily like super overt all the time. It can be said in a sentence, right? It can be done in a sentence. Someone can be triangulated in one sentence by not thinking. My brain is not example-y today, but I'll come up with something. But really, it can happen super short and super quickly, and the other person can be completely innocently, unknowingly, also buying right into the game that's happening. Especially because they can't see the big picture of what's going on in the relationship, right? All right. Should I be worried if a therapist supposedly familiar with PTSD and working for the past 40 years doesn't know what gaslighting is? My gut says yes. Yeah. You know what? The average person nowadays knows what gaslighting is. I would say yes. I would be concerned about a therapist that didn't know that term. If they didn't know how to handle narcissistic abuse recovery in particular, I would not be as concerned or I wouldn't be as surprised, but not knowing what gaslighting is. Because you know what? It's everywhere. It's in advertising. It's in politics. It's in everything. I'm not going to go into that stuff because it's huge, but it's everywhere, right? Gaslighting is it's a manipulation tactic. It's meant to confuse you so that you say yes to something or agree to something or get confused and don't know what you think anymore, right? So yeah, they should know it. Let's see, what am I saying? You feel shame knowing that I felt shame, says Iraq, in knowing that I was, whoa, it went away. Knowing that I was that for the narcissist unknowingly, that you were triangulated. But the thing is, see, you were as manipulated. That's why I say people innocently oftentimes innocently are triangulated in. They don't know. They don't know. It's nothing for them to feel shame about. It's more to understand and learn so that you take a more objective viewpoint when someone is steering a conversation. A narcissist will steer a conversation, right? So, okay. Let's see. One reason dealing with narcissists is so tricky is that they do not play honestly. They readily employ deception to accomplish their purposes. And it's lightning fast, and it's not even premeditated. It just happens in the moment. They're that quick with it because it's how they function. It's not like they sit around premeditating. Some of them might, but for the most part, they're not like, today I'm going to gaslight 15 times and I'm going to triangulate 6 people. And it's sort of like whatever is in the moment, they're grasping at it. It's the same thing as if you have one lie, takes 5 lies to cover that lie and then 10 lies to cover that lie. And your whole life becomes about a web of lies. That's kind of what it is. Their whole life is about a web of manipulation in order to protect the one thing that matters to them. And that is their ego, their perception of who they need to project to the world that they are. That's it. All right. Mo Cabay, looking up the definition of triangulation is confusing. One form of it is to get the target to try harder, be a better slave. Yeah, it's what I'm talking about here is just one little aspect of, because I've only got however long. I mean, you could do long talks on just triangulation, right? You love how realistic the explanations are. Good, because I'm feeling like I am grasping for those today. It's hard that's why I like one topic at a time, because my brain, that's how my brain works. But all right. The try harder as they are others. Like, okay, so let's keep going. Another way they manipulate is they play the victim. They play the victim, and this is part of the gaslighting, but I put it all by itself because people aren't as, I think, aware of this as much as it happens. And then as soon as you say it, you have like 7 or 8 people in here saying, oh yeah, they do, with a ton of examples, and people agreeing with and relating to and feeling completely validated that, oh, that actually did happen. They played the victim every time. I cannot. So instead of saying, sorry, he was the victim every single time, I'm really not that mean that I actually victimize people that much. You know what I mean? Like, what? So yeah, every single time. Even when you're willing to take a piece of the accountability for something they did to soften it, they're still the victim because you've hurt their feelings for even bringing it up. Everything bruises their ego. It actually hurts them. It hurts them because they're spending their lives building something artificial that isn't even a personality. It's a perception of who they think they are that they're casting out. It's an ego-based delusion of their grandiose self, right? And so everything needs to go to protect that. Of course, they have pain and wounds and everything like we all have, right? But they like to claim they're triggered by what you said. That really triggered me. I heard that a lot. I'm triggered. I'm like, when did he learn that word? And could whoever taught him that word, please, why did you teach him that word is what I would think, right? Why? So now when I hear that a lot from survivors, and I hear it a lot in coaching about triggers, I have to separate like, oh, okay, yeah. We all have triggers. Of course he had triggers. I mean, whatever, he's a narcissist, but he still has triggers. But it was the way he used the word, right? He used that very word to manipulate things, to play the victim. When we say it, we're trying to warn people, I'm feeling triggered. I need some space. I need some time. I need to recover, whatever we're trying to do. But with them, it's, I'm triggered. How dare you trigger me? What, I triggered you because I asked you, why you were, looking around on a dating site? That's triggering to you. Wait, triggering to who? Oh, I don't trust you anymore. You're spying on me. And it's triggering me because people, I guess, okay, they play the victim. Sorry, I'm getting crazy. But yeah, it's insanity. When I laugh because it is, if you break it apart and made it and made it like a caricature of what it would be, it's buffoonery, right? The way that they do this. Some of them are aggressive and violent with it, so it isn't funny in the least. But some of them, it's just this rambling nonsense that, they use I'm triggered to begin the blame shifting. And from there, that's what we go into blame shifting. Right, exactly, the blame shifting. It's your fault I lied and cheated on you. You triggered me. Or you caught me. So say you catch them cheating and lying, and you're mad, right? You're rightfully mad, you're hurt, and you say, I trusted you. How could you do this to me? What happened? What's going on? Why did you do this? I'm so incredibly hurt by what you did. And they say, well, now I'm triggered because you raised your voice at me. And when you raised your voice at me and completely take the topic, what do they call that? I'm not thinking of the words. What is the word? Somebody help me out here. When they take the topic and they completely, I call it derailing, but they like shift the focus shifting, I don't know, onto something else, and off they go, form of gaslighting. And then they blame shift with you're triggering them. You guys are laughing at me. Okay. Oh, calm down. Okay. I'm having nightmares a day after I told them I was having nightmares. Now I'm having nightmares. Oh, yes. Uh-huh. Now I'm having nightmares. Gaslight, blame shift. Yeah, there's another word that I'm thinking of and I'm not coming up with it. It's okay. It's okay. We'll just keep going. Playing the victim. Poor them, right? What does it do when they play the victim? Number one, if they do it craftily, like half the time you're just rolling your eyes going, there they go again. It's all about them, isn't it? All about them. Oh, the dogs, I have them upstairs and they're still barking. Distractions, avoiding any and all accountability. Well, that's the whole nature of all of this, all of these manipulations, except for the love bombing, the devalue, cycle is meant to, that's just how they are in relationship. That's how they function in relationship because everything's transactional, right? But the rest are really meant to avoid accountability. So playing the victim, okay. One thing that they're playing the victim can do for a lot of people is it plays on your empathy. If they do it in a quiet, subtle, crafting kind of way, if they're subtle about it, it really can stir your empathy so that you see their side. Because, okay, when I'm in a debate with someone, when I'm in a conversation, when anything gets heated or a little upset, and I try hard to, I don't know how about you guys, but I try hard to see the bigger picture of what's going on, not just my own emotional reaction to something. And if someone is saying, well, wait a minute, this, let me explain what happened, or, or, well, no, that's not how I see it. I see it like this. I try to listen, right? And when I'm listening, what's being activated is my empathy for what they're saying. I'm trying to empathize so that things de-escalate. Now, when you're doing that with a narcissist, what's happening? You're feeding them supply, number one, and you're falling right into the trap. Because once they've got that piece of empathy, they pull it and they use it. And that's it. Then, oh my gosh, then the silent treatment would come. I can see what you're saying. I can see how that hurt you. I apologize for saying it in such a way that was so offensive. I really do. That's my bad. Can you see what I was upset about? I guess so, is what he'd say. I guess so. Okay. So now I've apologized for the thing he did, or the thing I was upset about. I've apologized for my asking about something, which makes no sense really, but it did as a time, right? Because of all the manipulation and the completely crafty gaslighting this man had, and twisted around. And then I'm apologizing for, I don't know what, but I do know that somehow I've actually hurt you because you've played this victim so well. And then what? And then comes his silent treatment. Now I need to recover. It's like, okay. So now the groveling has to start. And then the anxiety sets in us. And then how do I fix it? Why do I want to? I don't know. But somehow, for some trauma bonds, they make us completely wrapped up in this cycle. Oh, it's exhausting just thinking about it, right? Okay. I have those coping mechanisms now, choosing where to look at my text message instead of having them sprung upon me. Let's see. We must always remember they are gods in their own minds, and it must always all be about them. Silly me, I would forget to. Oops, says Mo Cowboy. I know, right? I forgot. You were so perfect. All right. Okay, so projecting. Projecting is another way in which a narcissist will manipulate you. Everybody projects a little bit. Everybody projects. It's really hard not to. It takes a strong sense of your own emotional awareness of what you feel and think and whatever in a moment. And I totally did this too late as everyone's coming home. So, all right. Sorry, listening to the party going on. Okay. Projection. Everybody projects a little bit. We all do. Unless it takes a strong sense of knowing your own emotional. They let the dogs down. The dogs are going to be at the door now. Okay. That's okay. Let's keep going. A strong sense of yourself, a strong sense of who you are, what you're feeling, really being aware of what you're feeling in order to not project that onto someone else. And even then, sometimes we do, right? Especially when things get heated or confusing, or you're really hurt about something and you're not able to express it right or express it well or whatever. We all do it. The narcissist does it as a manipulation tool to not take accountability, to not. Do you see the difference? Am I making sense? Okay. What are we saying here? All right. Nobody's saying anything. Talk to me, guys. All right. So yeah, the projecting. They who let the dogs out. Woof, woof, woof. I know they did it. That's okay. Now the dogs are running up and down the stairs. Up and down, up and down. Let us in. Let us in. And I'm not going to let you in. Okay. Projecting. They're saying basically they project their behaviors, their thoughts, their feelings onto the other person as if the other person is the one who is doing it. So, gaslighting exercise. What dog? I don't hear any dogs. There's nothing going on here. All right. You're dating yourself. I'm dating myself too. Just kidding. Getting crazy. All right. Projecting. Talk to me about projecting, you guys. What have you experienced with that? They might do things like say you're cheating. They might do things like say you're being mean. You're rude. You're they might projecting. I'm trying to think of classic projecting off the top of my head isn't coming to me right now. Help me out, guys. Gaslighting is so complex, so much more than I didn't say that. I've definitely been gaslit, but I didn't realize it, trying to wrap my head around it all. Okay, Jeannie. Yeah, isn't it? The manipulation is so subtle. And so it's in everything. It's the thing is, it's how they operate. It's not that they are like, oh, there's Jeannie, I think I'll gaslight now. No, it's just how they operate. It's like, it's the, hi, Boris. Listen, I will say I'm 18 now. I was abused by my dad for 13 years. I know what this stuff's like from abusers. I'm sorry that happened to you. Welcome. So it's not like they're like choosing the moment to do the gaslighting. This is the gaslighting moment. This is the big moment. Here it comes. Here's the gaslighting. No, they are continually protecting themselves. They're continually protecting their own, like I said, their own ego and their delusional experience of what they need the world to be in order to prove that they are these great and wonderful beings. There's so much with projection. There is so much with projection, isn't there? They don't love themselves. They don't like themselves. They project that onto you by devaluing you. The devaluing is oftentimes a projection of their own negative feelings and thoughts toward themselves. They hide everything behind their ego and they don't let it out. We all hide a little bit in our subconscious, right? We all hide behind the truth sometimes. When we work to take accountability for our lives, we let ourselves see these things and we don't project them onto other people. If I'm mad and I'm not telling anyone and I start to project that onto other people by making it seem like everyone's being a certain way, then I'm not looking at myself, right? I'm throwing it out onto other people so I don't have to look at myself. This is what they're doing all the time. Spirit-led poetry. Hello. In marriage counseling, he said he didn't like the way I would talk to him, which made me think, really, I was doing that. I totally brought the projection. You totally bought the projection. You know what, though? This is how it is. And this is why it's really dangerous in a way for the survivors to be in marriage counseling with a toxic narcissist, because they don't let themselves be seen there. They know how to play the game. They don't want to get caught, right? And if they do, what are they going to do? Play the victim and then take it out on you later. Okay. Is it safe to say all gaslighters are narcissists? No. Any person can gaslight. People do it all the time. It's just the way the narcissist gaslights. Is the way they communicate when anything when anything shines light on the fact that who they are claiming to be isn't real. In other words, their ego. When anything bruises the ego, when anything infiltrates that space, it can be a simple question of, it's usually something that questions them, at least my experience, something that questions them, something that makes them, that pushes against who they want to pretend that they are. Okay. Okay. What the great and wonderful and powerful, exactly, Wizard of Oz, degree and frequency. What are we saying here? Gaslighting can be toxic aspect of manipulative personality that's not full-blown NPD. It's also in our culture. If you just look at advertising, I mean, is everyone who you create something that's an illusion that you want, that you make people feel they have a sense of scarcity when they don't, in order for them to buy the product. That's a form of gaslighting, really, right? You're making people think that something that they already think isn't what they think, isn't what's real, so that they then do the thing you want you to do. What the narcissist wants is they want you to agree, bow down to, and support the ego, the persona, whatever you call it, the fake mask, to prove that's real. And they also need to devalue you. Remember, they need the negative part of the cycle, because that is also fuel. It's also supply. So, okay. So can my father have been a narcissist or an abuser when I was young? He threw me out of a 2-story house that was bad and tried to shoot me. Oh my goodness. He was all of the above and worse. Oh, yeah. I don't know what he was, but that is an abuser for sure. And I don't know otherwise, right? But yeah, he can be both. I don't know, but I'm sorry. That's awful. I bought Fashion Family says I bought the "you don't respect me" projection. Okay, that's a good one. Thank you. I was just really struggling to think of a projection. I think I have a little of the abuse amnesia hit right now, because I'm talking about so many things all at once. And like, what did they say? Let me think. All right. I brought the "you don't respect me" projection. Once I understood projection, I calmed right down and realized it was she who doesn't respect me or herself. Okay. Cognitive dissonance. Yes. Most forms of marketing today is manipulative, isn't it? And the media is also gaslights. And also, I think in small ways people do it. It's just that this is how gaslighting is a major way that narcissists get their way in any conflict. So, okay, what else? Okay, so then another one. Did I get, how many did I do? I don't know. Didn't number them. Here we go. How about one more? Boundary violations, boundary crossing, boundary pushing the line until you look back and your boundary is nowhere to be seen anymore. Boundary crossing. It's a manipulative tool of putting pressure on, putting on the heat, pushing on those boundaries until you don't even remember that you had one, because it's so far in the past. And you end up, the way you know you're there is you're doing things that go against your own moral compass, whatever that is for you. You're doing things, you're saying yes to things, you're agreeing to things that are not you, that you're not your choice. And you're so far into the yes by the time that you're there, because they have slowly and incrementally pushed that boundary to the point where it no longer exists within that relationship or that dynamic. So that's another one they do. Let's see. He said, "Son, because you're autistic, I don't like you." Oh, that's awful. That's awful. Are you safe from this person now? Hi, Daniel. How are you? Parasite-free Monday. And you are so many days in now. I don't even know how many. I can't keep track, honestly. But yes, boundary violators. Both of the X thingies ignored the plans we made and just moved on, took over, violated all the boundaries. Yes, I haven't seen my dad in 3 years. It's tough. What is tough for you with it? Daniel says she would always hold me to standards or boundaries that she would never hold herself to. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. Always, yes. Yes, always like I wasn't allowed to cuss. What the? If you knew me in person, you'd laugh because it's not every other word, but it's lots of words, and they come out, and then I do pretty well to keep it clean here, but every now and then you'll see me go yeah. So yeah, I wasn't allowed to cuss, but he could as much as he wanted. So yeah, and that's a silly example, but really, yeah, they set standards that you're to live by, and then they don't even come close. They don't even. It's like they don't even consider the same standards. All right. I have the depersonalization now, and I don't remember who I am. It's tough, but it happens to most people that are abused. It depends on discover who you are. Right. It takes time to discover who you are, and to learn what you like and don't like, and learn all the parts of yourself as you're healing, so that you can become the person who you really are, and you allow yourself to be it. It takes self-discovery. Then we have not been taught how to do that, so that takes time. All right. Daniel says, like, she could come spend time with my son, but I could never see her with her kids. Never met them after a year and a half of being with her forever. Interesting. Yeah, I get it. You mean like asking her to leave my room so I can get dressed for work, but then getting screamed at about how I don't respect her and kicking her out of the house? Yes. Yeah, I can remember, this is a ridiculous one, in the bathroom, like, oh, I gotta go pee or something. I'm in the bathroom and the door is just opened, walks in, does whatever. And I'm like, what the heck? What that? But if I didn't knock in a certain way and say, excuse me, may I enter the room, blah, 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 and be told no while he's in the shower or something ridiculous, that, I should be able to walk in and grab whatever because he went in there without telling me. It's like, oh no, same standard, same thing, different standard. Absolutely. Okay. I can totally remember that. Yes. Okay. All right. Anything else, you guys, that are ways a narcissist manipulates? That's what I had. There's so many ways. What am I missing here? Double standards. Which we're kind of going at. Double standards. That is a manipulation tactic, isn't it? What else? How else do they manipulate? Anybody? We're going to end real soon here, but rage, fear. Rage and aggression and creating fear is highly manipulative. Silent treatment is silent rage, right? It hurts. Silent treatment is felt and received in the center of the brain where pain is received. That's where your brain fires off, where they have shown in MRI studies that when someone receives the silent treatment, it actually hurts, or the brain perceives it as pain. So yeah, it's another manipulation tactic. What else? Being emotionally blackmailed. Yes. Pitting you against your friends. Hi, Paula. Pitting you against your friends. This is another one. What else? Intimidation, to get you to freeze so they have total control or fight back, which then they use to prove you're crazy. Oh, yeah. Duchess says they don't consider it in the same standards. They always say it's different. Oh, it is different. So different. Yes. The only thing that's different is that it's you versus me, and I'm wrong and you're right. He shamed me. There's one. Shamed. He shamed me in front of all the girls I met. Shaming is another manipulation tactic to gain control over you and make you feel devalued and lesser than. It also keeps you from living your life, right? So yeah, shaming. What else? What is another manipulation tactic? Shame is a powerful tool and it sticks with us for life. So we have to really work to undo that programming through therapy or whatever means you can to understand that we don't need that shame. That shame is planted there and is not real. It's real. The experience of it was real, but you do not need to shame oneself. Sabotage. Oh yes, sabotage. Sabotaging everything. Sabotaging good times. Oh, there's a good manipulation tactic, right? Sabotaging good times. Why they want to do that? That's the one I never understood, except for that it gives them supply, and they can't maintain the happy when it's about other people. So take your birthday, for example. How many of you had that sabotaged every single year? Most survivors. So I would say sabotage is a good one. It was the bad one, but yeah. Shaming is terrible. When people came around, he said he loved me, and when they left, he beat me up and swore at me. It's sick. Mind games. The parasite would say, "Stop yelling." Oh yes, got that a lot too. Stop yelling when I'd get excited, and I wasn't even close to yelling or even upset. I was told once. I went like this. I was really angry. Okay, this was like I'd had enough. This was like a month or two before the final discard, right? So I was like at the end, right? I was really mad, but I took a breath. I went, not even that loud. I'm doing that for on the bed. He's on this side. I'm doing it on this side. And it was like that. And then a sitting up, like, what? It was that kind of thing. That was me yelling and getting violent. So violent that I was beating my fists on the bed. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that I get it. Calm down, girl. Calm down, mister, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Mind games for sure. That's a bit of projecting too, and gaslighting all rolled up in one, isn't it? My ex would sabotage projects so that I could step up. So I could step up and undo, be the hero, rescue the project so that they could. Okay. You are not a hero when you create the problem you fix. It's what they do, isn't it? Exaggerating. Boasting. So many. Yeah, so many ways. What else do they manipulate? A couple more and then I got to head out. If you have any, I can't think of any more off the top of my head without really thinking. Anyway, that's lots of ways. In 1 hour that we just talked about. Less than an hour. We talked about lots of ways in which a narcissist will manipulate you. Now what? Now we go on with our days and hopefully feel better about it. But no. So if these things are happening in your life, okay, what's the answer? It's no contact with these people. Get out, get away. If you can't, gray rocking all of it. Really, gray rocking it's not gonna make things better. It's not the point. It's to diffuse the situation and keep you protected and safe. So yeah, we said rage. Hi, Gwen. I did say silent treatment and I said rage. Body language. I like that. Body language. That's another one we forget about. The body language is super subtle, clear ways of expressing something to someone else, isn't it? And or they read your body language, they project onto it when you're actually just feeling completely beaten up and just completely like shut down, and they project that you're being a certain way based on your body language. But then theirs is one of they posture. I used to say posturing. Don't posture at me. I don't like it. So yeah. I'm gray rocking now. I wish I could get out now, right now. I wish you could too. Listen, people who become like this had this childhood half the time. Well, it's true, but also people who have had this don't become this. It's no excuse to abuse. There's none. There's none. Get yourself some help or stay away from people. That's what I say, right? If you can't stop abusing people, but the fact that they can't take accountability, Boris, they can't take accountability means they'll never get the help, right? They never. So you did right. You just don't talk for 3 years. Excellent. Please stay out, right? Okay. I'm great. Oh, no, I understand. I understand. I'm just talking to you and everybody else at the same time. Vaknin calls narcissist the ultimate shapeshifter. They think they are. Of course he would. But they can go from, the thing is, once you see it, it's not shape-shifting. It's just acting. They're not actually, it's not so masterful and wonderful as they think. It's creepy and effective for sure, but it's, once you see it and you know what it is, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to live an entire life acting that way, in my opinion, but that's what they do. All right. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, I think we're done. All right. So if anyone needs help with anything related to narcissistic abuse recovery or topics of narcissistic abuse to help you understand, to help you discover, understand, or overcome narcissistic abuse, head over to queenbeing.com. Lots of info over there. If anyone needs coaching, help, there is a link in the description below to that. I am running a special 35% off the one-on-one 1 hour coaching through January 1st of next year. So just so you know, that's available for the next few months if it's needed. And also group coaching starts this week again for November. You can join anytime, but the month starts now. So that's going on Wednesdays and Friday. And then there is a messenger group that goes with that that's daily. So if anyone's interested in that, that's 1 hour shared group coaching. If anyone needs it, it's there. The information, again, is in the main description. If you've not hit subscribe to this channel, please hit subscribe, pop the thumbs up button, and that's it. Any topics you guys want for the week, let me know. I'm going to be talking this week about sex and narcissists. First topic of sex is, how did I word it? Kind of like the weird sex. The people, I don't like to judge. All right, I don't mean that judgmental. It's not that it's weird. It's the way they do it. It's the boundary pushing deviances. And I'm not saying that sexual acts are deviant. It's the way they do it. Okay. It's the pushing someone's boundaries, the sneaking, the lying, the obsessing, the fixating, that kind of thing. We're going to talk about that. And what else? Just say no, at least for 6 months after a dating process. What do you mean? What are we saying here? Dawn Elizabeth, hi. My right wrist painful. I had to coast. It sucks. Wait. I don't understand. Your right wrist is painful. You had to coast? What are you saying there, Dawn? I don't understand. Oh, yeah. Just say no. Yeah. I appreciate you guys too. Okay. What else? What else we got here? Hit the thumbs up. All right. Translation, I listened to the show. Oh, okay. So, like, what does she mean? I really want to know. All right. Oh, sex will release oxytocin and produce feelings of love. Go slow. Yeah. But we're not talking about us and re-engaging. I want to talk about the stuff you guys experienced that made you feel abused within sex. Starting with some of the more interesting ways that they pushed your boundaries or did things that just seemed to cross the line, or there's some commonalities between, like, say, porn addiction and things like that people talk about a lot. So things that made you as a survivor feel like sex wasn't about intimacy and connection, right? That it was more about them. Yeah. All right. I have to think of how to word this. Okay. What are we saying here? Smash that like button, everyone. Have a great evening, says Martha. Smash it. All right. Some research says narcissists don't produce oxytocin. I'm curious of that. I'm curious. I'd have to read that. I'm curious about how about selfishness in bed. That's, yeah. Honestly, all of it goes. It's about okay. So the reason I want to talk about it is not just because I get to say the word sex like as a million times and many as I want, sex, like all day long, which is fine with me. And not because I'm not squeamish and this stuff doesn't get to me. I can, okay. So it's not because of that. It's because people don't get the validation that they need for the abuse that takes place in the more intimate parts of the relationship, such as sex. And because so many people are coerced and pushed into sexual situations with a narcissist that they would not have engaged in otherwise. When I was talking earlier about the boundary pushing, that was one thing that was in my head. You say yes to this, and they jump over here, and they keep pushing that boundary further and further. A lot of people are coerced into things like BDSM, or not to say that it in itself is wrong. It's the being coerced into it. It's how can you be in a situation that requires trust and confidence in a partner when you have a narcissist as your partner? It's unsafe, right? And it's toxic because they are using that realm of control, sexual control, to then further manipulate you in your relationship. And what is being released in you is that oxytocin that's creating the bonding chemical in your body, trust, intimacy. It also is creating, if the situation gets kinky enough and you are not into that, but your boundaries have been pushed to say yes to it, or even if you are into it, but you realize that your partner isn't actually there for you, you start to feel shame, and you might start to feel all kinds of bad feelings about yourself and about sex itself. You start dissociating within sex. You start having, you see what I'm talking about? That's why it's important. It's not that I just want to say the word sex a zillion times, even though it kind of sounds like I do. Or maybe I do. I don't know. But anyway, you see what I'm saying? It's there's a whole lot of abuse that goes on with intimacy, with sexual connection with a narcissist. And I'm trying to, because I can talk about it here, I'm trying to talk about it here. And I'm trying to help people feel the validation that they potentially need to feel in order to heal that part, because that's a place that's difficult to talk about in forums where, and oftentimes when I do, I end up with 0 people in chat and everyone's saying, I'm sorry, I don't really want to talk about this, but I really want to hear it. So I understand that might happen and that's okay. Just so you know, that's probably tomorrow. So if it's not your thing, just listen or don't, or, you're welcome to talk about something else at the end of it, whatever. But okay. Okay, what do Dawn says, my middle brother enemy hooked me up on bolts and nails. Okay. What are we saying? Creepy subject, sex with a narcissist. Yes, they do keep their exes close. Your body as a substitution, a sex toy. It's always a sex toy and a fantasy thing. Been through a lot in that department, right, Martha? I know, right? It is dehumanizing. And it takes the very essence of most people, non-monogamy aside, most people in monogamous relationships That's the only person you're that intimate with for many years, however long you're with that person. That's the one thing you only do with that one person, right? There's a lot that goes on there that is built between you and that other person. And it's kind of the nature of why monogamous relationships have the monogamy, right? Non-monogamous ones, of course, have a different aspects going on, and it's still equally important. But for most people, generalizing here, it's an area that nobody else sees. So the manipulation that goes on there is literally hidden. Okay. And also, there's no such thing as consensual sex with someone who's coercive. Think about that, right? Okay. And they're coercive because they're pushing boundaries and they're going, not to say, yeah, it's a big, long topic. All right. So, okay. Yeah, it's very triggering. It's very triggering due to shame and social shame, history of abuse. We can do it. We can talk about it. We can be compassionate for what we need to feel. It's good. Yeah, we can. We can talk about it. And if it's triggering, I apologize ahead of time. But that's what we're doing because the people do need to hear it. And may as well, right? May as well get it out there and just talk. All right. So that's it. That's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys take care. Have a good evening. And yeah, thank you for joining me. Goodbye.